Good afternoon, a warm welcome to Nosey Road for this afternoon's 5th round Silk Cut Challenge Cup tie, where the Holders and Helens take on the Hull. Welcome to all from Silk Cut, who have sponsored the Cup for many years now. You with Micron Video, we bring you all the Cup action. Unfortunately, we couldn't last week with it being BBC, that's a bit of politics. So sorry to all our regular viewers, but BBC run a rule over it and they don't give us a facility. The Hull team have taken the field. Here comes the St Helens side for this afternoon. Chris Joynt is the captain, with Bobby Golding being out for 6 matches. Initially 8 and then reduced to 6, and there's your 2 match day mascots. The brothers Smith, Carl Smith, 9 years of age, both attend Mountain Primary School. As I said, Carl, his hobby is a judo at the Saints Judo Club. He likes playing rugby for Pilks Rex under-10s. His favourite player is Kieran Cunningham, and young Christopher Smith, 5 years of age. His hobbies are rugby and football, and his favourite player is Apollo Perolini. The sides for this afternoon, I'll just run through them for you. St Helens, Danny Arnold at full-back, Bear Matautia, Alan Hunt, Paul Newlove and Anthony Sullivan, the 3-quarters, Tommy Martin and Lee Breers, the half-back pairing with Apollo Perolini, Kieran Cunningham, Julian O'Neill, the front row, Chris Joynt, Derek McVie and Carl Hammond, the back 3, with Andy Northey, Chris Morley, Ian Peckermans and Paul Anderson on the bench. I'll just pass you over to Steve, who's joining me, and he'll run through the Hull lineup for you.
Thanks very much, Ron. Good to be here again. Full side, a couple of changes from the victory over Huddersfield. Lee Deakin comes back in on the wing, but out of the side is Australian fullback Steve Holmes. So the whole side, Rob Miller at fullback, Chico Jackson, Rob Danby, Tavita Vaikona and Lee Deakin, Gary Lester and Peter Wheeler, the All-Australian halfbacks. At number 8 is Steve Craven, Mark Hewitt and David Boyd, Andy Fisher, Matt Schultz and Gary Devorty. On the bench for Hull today, John Aston, Matt Long, Richard Wilson, and good to see Chris Kitchen returning after injury. So it's going to be St Helens to kick off. This is a kind of mission impossible for Hull in many ways. It'll be very interesting to see how they get on today. They'll certainly have a go. It's Mark Hewitt with the first possession. Driven back towards his 20 by determined Saints tackling. Tavita Vaikona from acting half. Tackled by O'Neill. Steve Craven. Hull will try to play the game at their own pace. That, I think, will mean testing the referee to the limit with holding down at the play the ball. Certainly they've been very significant in the matches we've seen already this season, that the play the balls have been much slower than last year. And it is a matter of what referees will tolerate. Andy Fisher drives up to halfway, but that was the last tackle. So on the turnover, Saints in possession. Hull didn't get a kick in.
Yes, just losing the way a bit there, Steve, perhaps. Tactics breaking down, but Saints first touch of possession. As we can probably say, it's after the Lord Moore show, especially after Saints disposing of Wigan, the mighty, or should I say the once mighty Wigan. I know we shouldn't write them off yet, but I think they're on the downward slide, I'm very pleased to say. And no doubt Bobby Golding, an initial 8-match ban and reduced to 6 on appeal. Chris Joynt flicks the ball out. Tommy Martin took it under a lot of pressure, touched a Hull hand. Saints have another set of 6. Paul Newlove, he straightens it up, drives it upfield. On paper, Saints should wipe the floor with this outfit from Hull this afternoon, but it doesn't always work that way. Well, a bit of a high tackle there by David Boyd on Apollo Perolini, but the Terminator blasted forward. Saints moving it over to the right. Derek McVie again. Will he be instrumental this afternoon? Good ball handling forward. Saints again, move it across the line. Chris Joynt, 15 metres short. Hull urge to get back on side. Saints move it left. Martin looking for the overlap. Oh, Sullivan's in. Super stuff. 2 minutes gone. And Anthony Sullivan in at the corner for the opening try for the Saints campaign here in the Challenge Cup. Well, Saints were awarded another set of 6 as Hull had touched the ball. The ball taken up on the far side by Apollo Perolini, then it was moved crossfield. Martin instrumental. Master tactician Martin, he's got to be in the absence of Bobby Golding. to lead the Saints this afternoon, and Saints spread it across, and a lovely floated ball out to Sullivan. Not a lot of room to work, Steve, but he sneaked in at the corner. Is the writing on the wall?
Well, that's a pretty bad start for Hull, and I think I have to say that the winger Lee Deakin was quite badly at fault giving Sullivan the outside there, because certainly there wasn't really a natural overlap. Hull did have men over, and he took the floated pass to the outside, but it was that yard or two on the outside that Lee Deakin drifting infield had given him that made it very easy for Sullivan.
Did play in the Norweb Challenge at Christmas against our friendly neighbourhood Pie Eaters from Central Park, and he's got his chance today, obviously, with Bobby being out. We didn't know whether Saints coach Sean McRae would actually stick with the side that finished against Wigan with the half-backs, but he's put Lee Breers in. Hull in possession.
It's Danby taking it away from acting half, clears the 20. Now Craven. It's a good run by Steve Craven, makes a good 10 metres. Boyd. Plenty of big match experience for David Boyd in Australia. Former captain of the Perth Western Reds, a lot of service with Newcastle Knights. Peter Wheeler with the kick downfield. It's a useful one. Taken by Arnold, who's clobbered. Arnold in at full-back for Steve Prescott. Ron, what's the reason for that?
Yes, he's got food poisoning, we believe, as Paul Newlove nearly broke out of the tackle. Hull pressing down, kicking down, and wanting to keep Saints in their own 20. But a touch of food poisoning, we believe, Steve, and that's kept Prescott out. Julian O'Neill powering his way upfield. Once again, David Boyd looked suspiciously high, but the man kept his impetus going forward, and there's the in-form Pellegrini. Gets the ball away to Kieran Cunningham. Saints moving quickly. Overlap with Derek McVie. Alan Hunt's with him. Hunt, well, the ball maybe should have gone a little earlier, and Hunt nearly overrun him, then lost his footing. Maybe a chance missed, but the Saints moving left again. They're going to run this whole side ragged. There's Newlove on the wing, no problem. Saints in again in this top corner. 5 minutes gone and Newlove in. His second try in the cup campaign, and Hall again are taken to the cleaners. Perhaps Saints should have squared it in the far corner, Steve, but they moved it quickly. They're going to move it. Maybe the superior, I'm not saying superior fitness perhaps, but it is a quicker game in the Super League, as you said earlier, and I'm sure Saints are going to move it from one side to the other to try and drag the whole defence in, which they did again.
Yeah, classic St Helens try, but I think the real maker of that came a few moments earlier. I think it was Paulo Parolini who set that up. Hull were actually defending very well, pinning Saints back in their own 20-metre area, but a strong run by Parolini. Took 3 tacklers, but still stood up and got the ball away, which led to the 30-40 yard break. And then Saints no better side at moving it quickly to the other side and stretching the defence. And it was Paul Newlove, that devastating centre, got on the outside of Rob Danby and paced a burn. He made the corner with ease.
Yes, he's looking good, the Saints side, gelling together, and no doubt your tails up, especially as we can say again after beating the Pie Eaters a fortnight ago. And it's great, isn't it, to rub it in. You can't whack it. Sure, they'd have give us a bit of clog anyway, wouldn't they? But Martin kicks off. Hull will have the possession. They trail by 8 points to 0, and let's see if they can get their act together.
Matt Schultz playing the ball inside his own 20, and Hull facing what they've faced many times at St Helens here in the past, a blitz in the early stages. Very important they don't panic. Mark Hewitt goes from acting half-back, but flattered by Parolini. Nolan. 5th and last. All short of halfway. Wheeler. Nice little kick over the top. That will bounce away and probably just find touch about 15 metres from the St Helens line.
Scrum down, Saints head and feed. 15 metres from the Saints line. Lee Breers to feed. And Hull the once mighty side of the 80s, Steve, and obviously the introduction of Super League talks of a merger between you and your rivals Hull KR at one stage, but we know that's a no-no. Certain amount of pride there over at Humberside with two great clubs, and Hull penalised via Matautia. Was the man that brought the ball up. Now it's with Julian O'Neill, third in Division 1. Hull finished last season, 28 points, 14 wins and 6 losses. Derek McVie looking to spread it out. Once again, Saints in control. Apollo Perellini, the power of the man, the Terminator, drives into the Hull half, and Saints will run this Hull side as much as they can as Cunningham scampers a further 10-15 metres. Saints bring it to the left. Librius sidesteps, loses his footing. Torrential rain here at St Helens all morning, but the ground in excellent condition. A credit to Neil Holding. Sullivan going for the corner. Sullivan has kicked it, touching goal, but the cover defence coming over there. Rob Nolan, I think, there, Steve. But perhaps a speculator there, obviously. I think it was a bit too far, but Sullivan competed for it. Touching goal. Hull have possession, a tap from the 20.
It was good variety by Saints again. The kick into the corner, it was almost perfect. Caused more flutters in the Hull defence as David Boyd hits it up. Tackled 6 metres short of the halfway by Cunningham and Martin. Gary Devorti takes a flat pass from Mark Hewitt. Leicester, Wheeler. Back on the inside is Matt Schultz. Out of the tackle to Gary Leicester. Boyd. Makes good yards, David Boyd. Fifth and last, Hull just short of the Saints' 20-metre area. Comes back to Wheeler. Oh, tries to go for there and makes a mess of it. Under pressure from Saints, and they come up with possession.
Yes, good hustling there by Lee Breers. But that's all going to naught. Saints penalised, not playing the ball correctly, I think is the indication he's given. Or playing it forward, should play it backward. Obviously we was just looking away, Steve. I didn't spot that myself, but eagle-eyed Mr Connolly from Wigan spotted it. And it's a good chance now. Well, your cameraman David today, he spotted it, but he's a pie eater as well, so what would you expect? It's surprising what they can see and what they can't, isn't it?
Do I detect a bit of gloating over that win the fortnight ago, Ron?
What gives you that impression?
It's funny, I thought we were playing Hull today. Anyway, Mark Hewitt. He's going to have a shot at goal. From this penalty just inside the 30-metre line. Certainly in these first 10 minutes, Hull finding the extra pace of St Helens very difficult to handle. I think also the power, Perellini's two big busts. Hewitt kicks it, and he goes over. Well done, Mark Hewitt. Good kick under pressure. Saints 8, Hull 2. There is quite a travelling support from Hull today. Heard them for the first time. It's going to be Mark Hewitt to restart. Should be Saints possession.
Yes, thank you, Steve. So Hull on the board here by virtue of a win against Loch Lane, 42-0. Then round 4 played Huddersfield, drew at Huddersfield, beat them at home at the Boulevard after a 16-all draw by 24 points to 14. Saints losing possession, Hull coming up with the possession, and the scrum half there, Dave Wheeler, trying to wheel his way through.
Yes, Peter Wheeler had caught, but Hull in possession. It was a Perellini who coughed the ball up. Some better Hull defence on him this time, and it's Steve Craven who's taken the ball to the 20. Hull come to the right with Fisher. Wheeler. Devorti. But the Saints' blindside defence moved up very quickly. Schultz goes from acting half, kicks through, useful by Matt Schultz. Ball comes loose, and And in fact, the Saints don't think it touched the Saints man. Well, Danny Arnold, spectacular miss there.
Yes, that was a big earth swing, that wasn't it? And obviously it's come through off Schultz. The referee stopping play, making Saints wanted to get on with it. As McVie unloads it to Cunningham, now to Alan Hunt. Losing his footing again. Hull in with a chance there, they pressed it well. Just come up with a 2-point penalty from a Saints infringement. And they wanted to add to that. Chris Joint up to the halfway line once again. Good solid tackling from David Boyd, and over exuberant. And as you said before, Steve, the referee is not allowing you to lay on very much. Obviously speed is essential, and with maybe testing his patience.
Yes, I think the players are going to have to find the referees are going to have to find a new consistency on this. It was consistent with referees last year. We knew we had very quick play the balls, but certainly 2 games Hull have played this season, the play the balls have been much slower, and the referees have allowed much more holding down. And I think that was the case in the Saints-Wigan game, to be honest, for both sides.
Well, he didn't do so bad, did he? He kept the game more or less flowing. Martin inside to Joint. Well, Fisher has it there. Andy Fisher on Chris Joint, and Fisher coming up with a thumb. He was trying to release Joint's hand from holding his jersey, but in the end he lamped him one in the face there. The referee right on the job, the touch judge in. I mean, he wasn't tackled. Going down with the elbow is a kind of indication. The man will be spoken to. Handbags at 10 paces, Steve.
There's a bit of conflict there, but it shows nice to see a bit of passion from Andy Fisher. Certainly Hull need plenty of that. He has given away the penalty though. But Saints very confident, not going for goal, going for more possession.
Yes, 8-2 in the lead. A set of 6 and 20 metres from the Hull line, and why not indeed? Julian O'Neill's short ball from Tommy Martin. Good driving run, that's the first tackle. Another 5 to count, and 15 metres from the line. Perolini once again drives it in, right in front of the sticks. The big Western Samoan leads by example. Saints again, the variation. Breers drop off ball to Newland. Newland walks through them. Can he touch down? Centimetres short. Yes, great defence by the Hull outfit. That's it. That's a walk-in. Breers again. In for his first try in the Challenge Cup this season. Great work there. Good defence initially, Steve, but just buckling under the pressure.
Well, the last thing Hull can afford to do is to give Saints a clear set of 6 inside their own 20-metre area. Strong driving run again by Perolini, put the defence on his back foot. Newlove coming in at an angle, some great scrambling defence by Hull to hold him up. But then the quick ball out to the left, and Breers had a walk-in. Hull are under enormous pressure every time Saints have the ball.
Andy should pop his first goal over for this afternoon and make it 14 points to 2. 12-2 at present, 16 minutes gone. Breers coming in. Well, shades it to the left. 2 points going a begging there, 12 points to 2. You never know at the end of the day, Steve. Kicks could prove crucial.
Certainly a very kickable one, that. He looked... his first effort from right on the touchline was very close. But that really should have converted. Very high kick taken by Rob Nolan. But a good Saints chase, the high lofted kick allowing the chasers more time to get up and knock the man down. Schultz, who takes it over his own 20-metre line. Craven. I think the ball was meant for Craven, it's picked up by Wheeler. Chico Jackson runs from acting half. Again, the marker defence strong by Martin there. Hewitt kicks through, comes loose, Saints have it.
Yes, tidied up at the back, Saints possession. Alan Hunt, siding, brilliant work from Hunt. Taken down on his last possession, good tackling by Hull, they followed it through. It looked as though Alan Hunt was through, great tackling, from his hands, and Hull back in possession, Steve.
Well, that was a 6-point saving tackle by Gary Lester. Ball comes loose, referee waves play on. Saints have another penalty. It is a penalty, referee and touch judge in conversation. It was a wonderful, balanced, stepping run by Alan Hunt. Got through the middle of the Hull defence, beat the first line of cover, but it was Gary Lester showing a great pace to come back and take him from behind. A classic tackle from behind. Anyway, Hull have the penalty, in no great hurry to take it. 12-2 down on the scoreboard. Start this set of 6 on their own 40-metre line. Steve Craven. Tackled by Hammond, Hunt and Perolini. Wheeler. Schultz. Swamped by Cunningham and Perolini again. Perolini getting through a lot of work in defence as well as with the ball. Wheeler inside to Rob Nolan. Nice little play. Leicester. Devorti. Gets to the 30-metre line. Hewitt. Dunby. Almost up to the 20, but it's the 5th and last. Leicester. Wheeler. Goes for a long ball, but it's a get for Hunt. A get for Alan Hunt, and he'll get a score under the post. Well, that's an absolute killer for Hull. Bit of decent possession. Peter Wheeler on the last tackle, deciding not to kick, but to float it out wide to try and make some room on the outside of the St Helens defence. And Alan Hunt, who's a brilliant interceptor, read it beautifully wrong.
Yes, you do give him a chance, as you probably watched in the last round when he intercepted one when Wigan were pressing again, trying a speculator, just as Hull did there. And Alan Hunt, you can't touch him there. His physique and his pace, no problem there. Hull tried the speculator. Maybe they'd have been as well putting the kick in for the corner. I don't think they'll put a speculator out again, but Breers from right in front shouldn't have any problem now. Alan Hunt in for his second in the Challenge Cup. Great work there. 18 points to 2 when Breers kicks this goal. 16-2 at present. Just composing himself right from in front of the sticks. Missed 3. Will this be his first? Yes, it is. So no problem there. 18 points to 2. Saints well on the way. Great interception there by Alan Hunt. Quite a good crowd here assembled at Nosey Road. They was queuing up about 10 to 3, right down to the bottom to Dunriding Lane, but everybody's in now. Saints are on the way. 18-2, 21 minutes, so into the second half of the first half. And Hull to receive possession.
Again, that very lofted kick, giving the chasers more time to get up. And it's Matt Schultz who takes it almost back to the 20-metre area, 20-metre line. Involved in a tussle with O'Neill, I think it is, the Kiwi signing for St Helens. Chico Jackson takes it up to the 40. Hewitt inside to Craven. Breaks the halfway line. Hewitt from acting half. Makes another 10, but it's the 5th and last. Hull 40 metres away. And Wheeler certainly doesn't think about the pass this time. On to Hunt, takes it. Comes back inside, finds a big gap in the Hull defence. Collared from behind by Peter Wheeler.
Yes, a big buzz of excitement there as Hunt got the ball. And once Hunt touched down for that last try, the popular side, faithful from below, has erupted. We're all going to Wembley, and why not indeed? Saints looking rampant. Hull penalised there for holding down at the play of the ball. And the big Aussie, Derek McVie, requiring some treatment over there on the far side. Looks as though he's in quite a considerable bit of pain, but he's walked away from Saints physio Jeanette Smith. Julian O'Neill powering his way upfield. I think this is the 7th time that these two sides have met in the Challenge Cup since the war, and Hull have yet to register a win against the Saints. Perolini again, straightens up, looks for support, nearly stepped out of the tackle, up to the Hull 20-metre line. Hammond running along with Cunningham. The ball well taken by McVie, back inside to Breers, I think it is, yes, lovely ball, good backing up there, and I think that's Perolini that scored. Is it Hammond? It is, it's Carl Hammond, I beg your pardon. I knew he was there, sniffing, he followed Cunningham, he came round, the ball came to Lee Breers, he was in the right position at the right time, and Hammond on the end of it.
And the try scorer for the Saints at number 6, Carl Hammond.
Bit of individualism this time, Steve, but Hull well under the cosh.
Yes, they're not able to get the defence set. Such is the power of the St Helens forwards driving forward, such is their willingness to offload and the quality of the support play, that Hull are finding it very difficult to lift their game to accommodate the pace of this game. I think the other very striking feature is just the sheer physical presence of this St Helens side, and that I think is the difference between the full-time pros, which St Helens are, and Hull, who have a number of full-time players, but also a significant number who work full-time as well. And Saints are physically very, very strong, in absolutely maximum athletic condition. And another goal by Breers takes them up to 24 points to 2.
Yes, a daunting task for Hull, obviously coming here to Nosey Road, but equally so, if the game had been at the Boulevard, I think Saints could have been up against it, because it's a tight little stadium and a very vociferous crowd, Steve, and obviously I'm glad it's here, but Hull have the possession. They trail 24 points to 2, and they're in possession just outside their own 20.
Yeah, and the pressure for Hull starts immediately from the kick-offs with those brilliant kick and chase by Saints. Will do no lack of effort or commitment in the Hull side. They've driven the ball well out of their own danger area, but unable to get the field position to put any pressure on the Saints defence. Quick play the ball. Gary Lester gets inside the Saints half. It's the 5th and last. Wheeler, high kick onto Hunt. Gary Devotee in chasing him, but Hunt takes it. It's tackled immediately by Gary Devotee on his own 20-metre line.
Yes, he took it well there under pressure, as you said. Devotee coming in, back with Hull after a spell away. He was with Leeds, wasn't he, Steve? And Halifax there, yeah. A great loose forward in his own right. We're back with the Hull club. Saints have the possession, moving it quickly, varying the play. Hull move in quickly, got to try and clamp the Saints. Chris Joint saw that slight chink in the Hull armour, went for it, just short of the halfway line. Derek McVie, powerful runner, working on both flanks. Tommy Martin, speculated there from Martin. I don't think that went according to plan as he raises his hand there, but Hull will restart with a tap from the centre of the 20. 27 minutes gone, Saints 24, Hull 2.
Yes, that's the first mistake of any sort I think Tommy Martin's made. David Boyd. Devotee, nice switch of play. A little bit high from Perolini, but Hull still encroaching on the Saints half now with Chico Jackson driving up the middle, coming in off his wing. 2 tackles left in the sequence, I think. Wheeler back inside to Nolan. Nolan trying to use some footwork to get through, but it's 5th and last. Hull still 35 away. Wheeler again with a high kick, but that's gone backwards. been put under enormous pressure, and a knock on. Back to one. A mistake by the Saints. Tommy Martin. Vicona from acting halfback. Tackled by Joint. Hewitt. Boyd. Oh, passes to a Saints man. Passes blind, gives the ball away. Poor play by David Boyd.
Yes, Joint just coming back onside, and the ball being slipped out of the back door and into a Saints pair of hands. Anthony Sullivan from the acting half-back position. Tommy Martin was on his outside, in Sullivan's wing-berth position. Once again, Paul Newlove up to the halfway. Hull forced to defend. Derek McVie driving it up. Clamp tackle. Phil Sigsworth, the old coach, obviously they've done his homework on the Saints. The last tackle as Cunningham chips it through. Once again, Cunningham hacks it on. Can he win the race for the line? Well, I think he has. I think he's touched it. I think that is a try. Cunningham put his hand out. Oh, the referee's ruled it out. Obviously, we haven't got an action replay. I think that was very close, Steve.
But even when Saints were struggling there, in a sense, they lost their way in the last tackle. Still enough imagination and ingenuity. A nice little chip over by Cunningham. He's got tremendous pace, of course, this hooker. Chico Jackson gets the ball off the tackle. Wheeler makes a little dart up the middle. Craven. Strong run by Steve Craven. Takes play almost to the 20, but again, Hull running out of tackles. It's the fifth and last. Lester. Wheeler. Gets clattered. Back to Andy Fisher. It's the last tackle. And Fisher's going to be caught with it. Well, Wheeler's kicking game has gone to pieces in a sense because he's under such tremendous pressure from the St Helens chasers. They really are putting... I think this is... Sean McRae was at the game against Huddersfield last week, and I think the replay, I think that's obviously an area he spotted to put Hull under pressure on.
Yes, Vicona just having a little treatment, a bit of a blood bin treatment, bit of the old claret there. But yes, Sean McRae over there, and he's a master tactician, Steve. Obviously, it's not just physical ability, it's mental ability as well. And this Saints team have benefited from the man coming here. Carl Hammond drawing it in, still stood with the possession. Derek McVie takes over the running. Once again, Saints running through. Perolini flicks it up. Cunningham there. Saints following the man with the ball, backing up the runners. Once again, Saints spread it left. Newlove up to the halfway line, solid tackling again. Mark Hewitt in there, doing some tackling. Now it's with Julian O'Neill. Containing job by Hull on the Saints. Not a lot of forward movement at present with Chris Joint. 10 metres inside the Hull half. Last one of the sequence. Tommy Martin puts it out to Breers. Breers chips it through. Hammond's chasing it. Nolan comes up and Nolan takes it comfortably. But the Saints reception committee move in to meet him.
Some good cover by Rob Nolan there. But again, another teasing kick. And Hull having to make yards from their own 10-metre area. Ball comes out, nicely flicked out by Wheeler to Danby. Makes an extra few metres. Devotee. Schultz, certainly run hard for Hull. Craven. Steve Craven making some yards as well. He's responded well to the challenge. Wheeler. Lester. Vicona on the drop-off. Good run by Vicona. Back to Lester. Back to Wheeler. Nice football. Get the kick in. It forces Arnold to go back. See what the whole chase is like. Gets past Devotee, but tackled by Gary Lester.
Yes, a nice passage of rugby there by Hull as they moved it down. Some crisp ball handling skills. In the end, the kick coming to Arnold, took it safely, came across the face of the posts, and Saints going to build up again. McVie turns it inside to Perellini, looking for the runners. Hammond has the possession. Saints just not ready for McVie unloading there. And Hull moving up quickly and pressing the Saints, trying to take them off the game. Well, that's an incorrect play, the ball, I think, from Saints, but Hull penalised for lying on Julian O'Neill. I know he'd put it on the floor before he actually got up, but the referee are judging that he was pushed down as he tried to make his way up, Steve. Obviously another grey area.
It certainly is, isn't it, this play of the ball. The referees have been asked to put an emphasis on very correct play of the balls. That one looked slightly forward. It'd be generous to call that a flat pass. But Saints in possession again.
Yes, on the Hull 20, looking to bury the ball, move it out. Now it's with Matautia. He gets it away. Saints have got to spread it. Briers tried the sidestep, tried the twist. Hull came in and met him. Good tackling there by the Boulevarders, the early birds. Tommy Martin threading his way through. Newlove was there. Martin just couldn't flick it out. 24-2 the score. 6 minutes to the interval. Hammond. Chris Joint. Joint again. Hammond was there on his shoulder. Hull forced to get back on their own line. Well, a knock on at the play of the ball. The referee right on the job this time. Scrum down. Hull head and feed. And error by Saints in a good attacking position. And Hull at the wrong end of the field, but they will, or they should, gain possession from this scrum, Steve.
And it's Vicona taking the ball from Peter Wheeler. So a nice little break a few moments ago by Tavita Vicona when he's put into space on the inside. Gary Devorti, who's also working very hard, gets over the 20. Switch of play. Steve Craven on the short side, meets 3 men. It's Newlove, Cunningham and Martin in the tackle. Wheeler. Nolan. Fifth and last though, and Hull still in their own half. Wheeler goes to the air again, onto Hunt. Certainly tested Alan Hunt with that, and he almost fumbled that, but managed to recollect and then sets off. I'm not sure I'd be kicking the ball to Alan Hunt. He's so devastating at running the ball back.
Yes, you're right there, and he has played full back for the Saints. But he's out there, along with Via Matautia on the right wing partnership. Julian O'Neill struggling here, receiving treatment in the Hull half from Saints physio Jeanette Smith. Tommy Martin drawing the defence in, looking for support, turn, twisted. Danny Arnold was coming up, but just that second too late. Newlove to Cunningham, over the top to Hammond. Hammond shimmies, draws the defence in. Hull defence covers up. Julian O'Neill taking a knock, looks to the right knee, it's heavily strapped, but he's back on the field. Derek McVie looking to unload, nobody there. Last one of this set of 6. Saints in possession. Briers puts it up and under up. The ball taken by Lee Deakin, and Lee Deakin breaks out of the tackle, sides his way through, support there, and good handling by Hull.
Good work by Lee Deakin and Rob Danby. Danby takes play into the Saints half. Portland Hull carry on from here. Vicona. Vicona, a good run. Big run by Vicona. Takes Arnold on. Best bit of Hull attack we've seen. 15 metres from the Saints line. Lester, Wheeler. Delayed pass to Craven. Well met though by the Saints defence. Cunningham in there. Does get around the field an awful lot. Cunningham. Saints a reset now. Devorti steps, takes them on within 5 metres. Hewitt acting half-back. Nolan almost there, and the referee has given a penalty for crossing. But that's the nearest Hull have come and showed some spirit there. That was a good turning of defence into attack.
Yes, well, from our angle, I wouldn't have said anything wrong with that, Steve. Even though Saints are well in command, it didn't look like crossing from our angle. Obviously, we'll have a look at that again on the replay. Well, great work there by Lee Deakin. The tackle wasn't completed. He played to the referee's whistle. He kept going. Good support from Danby. And then Hull moving it downfield and coming within a whisker, we can say. Still looking to register the first try. Just that penalty goal from Hewitt in the 11th minute. Well, Fisher again getting involved. Matautia driving through. Craven with the tackle. Well, infringement at the play of the ball. And Craven going to be spoken to. In front of the captain. Instinctive there, Steve, I think. He knew the Saints were playing it quickly. He just grabbed for the ball and he probably knew he was wrong and he's just been warned.
Yeah, I think probably the substance of that conversation is that if Hull infringe any more at the play of the ball, they're going to be sin-bit. But I think the referee also needs to take a look at correct playing of the ball as well, because I think one or two of the penalties could have gone either way. We've said this is a grey area, Ron, and I think we want to see referees being consistent.
Yes, that's if they ever can be, Steve. Saints spreading it. Julian O'Neill, the man in possession. Looks to have shaken off that injury. Tommy Martin drawing up, ball to Chris Joint. Hull forced to defend in the dying minutes of the half. Cunningham, midfield, 15 metres short of the Saints line, of the Hull line, I beg your pardon. Well, Cunningham is going to be spoken to. Saints have been penalised. The touch judge here, Cunningham looking for looked a bit of jiggery-pokery in the tackle, or so Cunningham thought. He protested and was penalised for his pains, Steve.
Well, there is half-time, and Hull actually have tightened up a lot in the second 20 minutes. Really, the damage was done in the first 20, when some Saints were really rampant. They got off to a brilliant start. They've had plenty of possession, but what I particularly like about them, it's really when Wigan were at their pomp, which was their greatest quality, I think, that even when you've got the ball, St Helens are attacking, because their defence is so strong. And Hull have really found it difficult to create any field position of any substance, only a little bit towards the end of the half. It's been Saints half. What a fine side they are. They lead at the interval by 24 points to 2.
Yeah. Who's the prop? Oh, there. They're both props now. Back with you now for the second half of this pulsating Silk Cut Challenge Cup tie. Saints in the lead, 24 points to 2, receiving the ball from the kick-off. No doubt, with the words of Sean McRae ringing in their ears from the half-time pep talk, and Danny Arnold coming downfield. Hull have made a couple of changes, and Steve will run through those for you as soon as he gets hold of the microphone. But Saints in possession. Scampering away. Cunningham onto Parolini. He turns in the tackle. He's looking to release it. Hammond was there. The tackling was right this time. Solid defence from Hull in the early seconds of the second half. Martin onto Joint. 8 metres into the Hull territory. Last tackle of the sequence. Tommy Martin puts the ball to her. Nolan underneath it, a tester for him. Saints come up with possession, the ball is loose. No, they don't. Hull have it.
Good testing kick. Rob Nolan got in good position. Couldn't really fault him, but great chase and great pressure. Hull have made 2 changes, 2 forward changes. Off has gone David Boyd and on has come John Aston. And off has gone Matt Schultz and on has come Matt Long. So Matt Long will go into the front row and John Aston into the second row, I think. But it's Hull in possession with Steve Craven, who's done well, makes another good 10 metres. Just short of the 40. Nice switch of play, Gary Devorty bringing it up towards halfway. Taking a knock, Gary Devorty, feeling his ribs. Wheeler Aston into the Saints half, but it's the fifth and last tackle. Leicester's acting halfback, go to the short side with Wheeler, who kicks down into the corner. That's going to hold up in the field of play. That's a good kick and a good hold chase, but can they hold Matautia there? No, that's that extra power got him over.
Yes, good drive by Matautia, but an equally good kick, an excellent kick by Hull. Well, somebody's going to be spoken to. It looks like a sin bin in, Steve. Chico Jackson, I suppose, as you said before, they were warned. So 2 minutes into the second half, and Jackson for an infringement at the play of the ball. 10 minutes in the sin bin. Once again, Saints in possession, looking for a quick play of the ball. Cunningham obviously trying to attract the referee's attention, just trying to sway his judgment, we can say, a little bit. But now Hull down to 12 men. Can they hold the mighty Saints? Cunningham once again at dummy half. Saints put it along the line. Hammond, good ball, cut out ball to Perellini. Perellini down the wing. Goal, great drive from Perellini. The big man juggles with the ball. It's still loose. Hammond has it. Saints still in possession. Nothing wrong with that. That's all on. Saints very fortunate at the end, but a great drive by Perellini. Cunningham sidesteps, drives through, breaks out to one tackle, looking for support, still driving is Kieran Cunningham, gets the ball away. Now Saints knock it on, trying to find the way through, eager for points against the 12-man Hull side, but Hull just doing enough there to put them off the game. Scrum down, Saints knocking on there, and Hull will have possession from the scrum, Steve.
So Wheeler to feed this, hard enough to place St Helens with 13 men, never mind 12. Chico Jackson 10 minutes in the bin for not clearing the ruck. Deakin from acting halfback, who's made good yards from that, and again does pretty well, makes 10. Craven gets away from one man, gets the ball nicely away to Leicester, taken a little bit high by McVeigh. Nolan inside to Matt Long, who gets inside the Saints half. Quick play the ball. Wheeler inside to Gary DeVort. He makes a bust up the middle. Nice ball to Nolan. Mark Hewitt for the line. Good run for tackling back, and the ball taken away from Hewitt by Alan Hunt, is it? Chance gone begging, but good approach work.
Yes, the ball coming loose there, and Hull looks as though they was in for the first try. Great work as they moved it upfield. Hewitt looks as though he was scampering in, but Saints weathered the storm, and Alan Hunt come up with the possession. End-to-end stuff in the opening minutes. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Still 24-2. Chris Joint drives through. Sullivan's with him. Well, Sullivan had been in straight in there. Joint gave the dummy, went for glory. Saints got to build up again. Frears draws the defence across. That's knocked down by Devorti. That's going to be another set of 6. Waved off by referee Connolly. Morley and Pickavance looking to be introduced for the Saints. Julian O'Neill, the man in possession, and he's going to be replaced shortly. O'Neill and McVie going to be replaced by Pickavance and Morley. Perellini gets the ball to Martin. Martin looking for support. Oh, look at that! That's pushed by Paul Newland. I think it was meant for Breers. Newland came through, took the ball cleanly. 5 minutes into the second half, and Newland in for the second of the afternoon, the second of the game. For the try, and as I said, Saints making 2 substitutions. 46 minutes gone, maybe just a matter of time there, Steve. Hull seem to be competing, even though they have got 12 men, but Saints again throwing the ball out. A big bust on the far side. probably should have been a try. Joint went for glory, but then it was finished off with a superb pass as Martin, I think, turned it inside. Newlove came on the burst. It was meant for Breers, I think, and another try and another 6 points for the Saints, Steve.
Yes, it was. The only unfortunate thing for Hull in that last sequence was when Gary Devotee knocked the ball down and gave Saints another 6. But, you know, Paul Newlove, very difficult man to stop, coming at the angle on the inside. Well, it's trapped by Tavita Vaikona, meets Alan Hunt and Metaltia. And took a knock there. In fact, took a knock in the first half and was ball comes loose. Referee's giving a penalty against Saints for ripping the ball out. The tackle, Tavita Vaikona still down on the floor. There was a moment in the first half where he took up a defensive position on the wing. I think he'd taken a bang. Took another one there. Craven. Meets the tackle and makes a few more meters. Wheeler. Fisher. Hewitt acting halfback to the right with Leicester. Matt Long standing out wide. Makes the 40. Craven handling for the second time in this sequence, almost breaking through. Wheeler back, changes direction to Mark Hewitt. Mark Hewitt wriggles up to the 20. It's the fifth and last though. Wheeler set. Kicks along the ground, anything could happen here. Gary Leicester knocks on. The ball was free. Here comes Arnold on the counter-attack.
Yes, got a deflection there off a Saints play. It came back to Hull. If he could have held it cleanly, Hull would have been in for a try. As it was, he couldn't. Saints have the possession. Pickavance. Right on the halfway line. Both sides using two substitutions as Kieran Cunningham scampers away. Lovely ball to Hammond. Oh, deft touch from Hammond. Inside ball to Metaltia. Great tackle there. John Aston came in. Held Metaltia. Saints moving it. Martin over the top there. Arnold out to Sullivan. Sullivan around his man. And Sullivan in on the corner for his second. Great variation of play. Saints bringing it down the right here. Hammond, lovely deft turn of pace. Then the ball turned back inside, swept right across the pitch. And Sullivan going in at the corner after Arnold had took the ball and slipped it to Sullivan. Great try, another 5 points to the Saints. 34 points to 2. Obviously Silk Cutter sponsoring this game today, but our sponsors' boxes are full. So welcome to all in the sponsors' boxes, and especially in the Hewlett-Packard box. Jeff Banks, he's the main man in there, and in his company today we have Matt Vos, his sons Peter and Billy, Bernadette, Peter's fiancée, Mick Burrows, we've got Gwyn Jones with his friends Tony and Mike, and we have Lee Henderson in there as well with his dad Judd, and Colin Hesketh. He's in there again. Paul Carney, a friend there, he couldn't come, but that's another story, isn't it? Paul's working, but Lee Breers, and what a great kick there! A splendid kick from Lee Breers to a great try by Sullivan. Another 6 points to the Saints, and they make it 36 points to 2. So, great game here. Hope all in the Hewlett-Packard box are enjoying it. Hull will get possession. Go and get another few pints down your neck.
None of those men you mentioned were from Wigan, were they, Ron? Anyway, Sandy Fisher taking the ball back. Met by the very fresh Morley. Hull have made a change. They've taken off Mike Kona and brought on Chris Kitchen. And it's Matt Long. And again, it's Pickavance in the tackle this time. Driving Hull back. It's Long that's taken a knock now. Looks like an ankle.
High corners come off.
Yeah, they come. It's Chris Kitchen, yeah, as I say. Matt Long in some trouble here. I think an ankle has gone. Tried to regain his feet to play the ball after that heavy tackle. Just hasn't stirred since. Well, it looks as if David Boyd is warming up to come back. The last thing Hull want from this game is injuries, and this does look bad. It's like a break. The stretcher coming on for Matt Long. Chico Jackson, meanwhile, is back on after his 10 minutes in the bin. But Saints have certainly stepped up a gear at the start of the second half. Well, that's a bad sight for Hull, because Matt Long has done very well in the game so far. But from the physio's reaction, that looks like a break. So Matt Long carried off. Made a good start to the second half since coming on. Craven. Devotee. Kitchen. But met well by Matautia. Well, attempting to move it wide. Fisher makes some break, but Hull finding it very difficult to make any yards at all here. Wheeler is taken a bit high. Hull appealing for a high tackle on by Parolini. Craven takes it to the 20. But it's the fifth and last, and Hull really have been under intense pressure. Mark Hewitt finds a bit of space, drills the ball down, finds Matt Danion.
Yes, unfortunately though, the substitute Matt Long stretched it off. David Boyd back on. Vicona also been substituted. Saints have the possession. 36-2 the score, 54 minutes gone on the clock. Breers on to Chris Morley. Morley stands in the tackle, slips it back to Cunningham. Cunningham breaks free, moving it to right and left, then slips it out to Newlove. Newlove takes the tackle. Boyd round the top, Fisher round the legs, it looks. No, it's Devotee, beg your pardon. Joint losing his footing. Cunningham attacked in half. Breers, Saints along the line, Hammond, grubbers it through, takes it well, chips it again. Can he catch it on the full? He can't hold the possession. Pickavance can't either. Just unlucky there from Carl Hammond, but a great bit of individualism from this class footballer. Hull nearly felt the force against Steve, he just couldn't take it. Good little deft touches.
Well, he's a very fine player, Carl Hammond. Got the full repertoire of skills. I think he's one of the most underrated players of this Saints side. I thought he was outstanding in that 12-man heroic victory over Wigan. Parolini got the man of the match and wouldn't argue with that, but what a tremendous game he had. Well, the ball comes loose. Back inside, Saints have it.
Well, Saints did have it, Steve. It's seesawing away, and Hull now have the possession.
John Aston. Ball comes loose again, but I think he went backwards. Hull have it. Very untidy passage of play. Chico Jackson. Mark Hewitt to Leicester. Tackle from behind by Alan Hunt. Boyd. Gets it up towards halfway. Ball lost in the tackle. Referee gives a knock on.
Well, the referee, it looks as though he'd said the ball was reaped out, which he hasn't given the penalty for that. He's given a scrum down with a whole feed, Steve. So pick the bones out of that, my friend.
Yep. Well, it was reefed out in a one-to-one tackle. He went back towards the St Helens line. Gary Devotee, meanwhile, holding no shortage of spirit in this Hull side as they come forward again. To the right, Wheeler takes on the defence. Ball comes loose. Oh, that one would look to be knocked out by a Saints hand as well.
Did he get the handling in the last 5 minutes? It's been terrible, hasn't it?
Yeah, both sides.
Yeah.
I think that was a try-scoring pass for Anthony Sullivan. I would have backed him to have made it from there, because he'd drawn in the Lee Deakin. Meanwhile, Hull in possession on the St Helens 30-metre line. It's Leicester acting halfback, coming to the left with Boyd, but driven back by Hammond and Morley, who's got very involved in the game in defence. Chris Morley, Craven up the middle. On the 20. Leicester to Aston. Hewitt. Boyd. Chico Jackson goes for the corner. Chico Jackson, good run, good football by Hull. Wheeler. Leicester. Aston again. Hewitt. Hewitt scampers away to Devotee. Devotee for the line. And back to 14. John Aston, who's supporting to score. Very good work. Gary Devotee flicking the ball out of the tackle as he fell towards the line. Great work by John Aston, who was involved in that set of 6 3 times. Offloading initially in that play to create a bit of space. And Hull over the try line at last. And a good try, and a well-deserved one, I think, because they certainly competed in this game, blitzed in the first 20 minutes, but have had possession and have come back. And a well-deserved try to John Aston.
So Tommy Martin very instrumental there in the Saints this afternoon, and Anderson coming on. Hewitt between the sticks, 6 points to Hull. Well, All Faithful there being sung by the Hull faithful.
Many thanks to the Saints supporters and many thanks to the Hull FC supporters who have travelled down here today.
Saints in possession. Hull kicking off with having scored. Fisher just been replaced on the Hull side. Yeah. Perellini. Saints moving it cross field, approaching the halfway line. Cunningham scampers away, sees the gap, hits the straps, driving it through. Alan Hunt was with him. Great tackling there. Wheeler in, stopping the Saints possession. Pick of hands inside to Joint. Joint out to the back, and Hull in possession.
Gary Devotee picked up. Rob Danby goes from acting half, makes 10 metres, almost up to the halfway line. Hull. Steve Craven on the drive. I have a right to be heel tired, Steve Craven, because he's got through an enormous amount of work. Boyd. Leicester. Danby. Oh, almost the ball away to Chris Kitchen. Here is Kitchen, academy tourist, of course, in the winter rather, to New Zealand. And here's Richard Wilson with his first touch of the ball. It's the fifth and last. Hull just short of the 20-metre line. Devotee kicks through, collected by Arnold. Well tackled by Gary Lester.
Yes, good follow-up there by Lester and Devotee. Hull with a little bit of spirit in the step now. Moving up quickly on the Saints. Arnold driving it forward. Hewitt completes the tackle. Saints gradually gnawing away at the Hull defence. The ball knocked forward by Alan Hunt. Matautia tried to speculate, tried to slip it out, and Hunt couldn't take it. Scrum down, Hull feed.
Yeah, Saints certainly stepped up the gas in the first quarter of an hour of the second half, but they've fallen into a pattern of making handling errors. And Hull certainly have defended a lot better again, and putting together some useful attack at the moment. Chico Jackson up the middle. It's going to be tackled about 10 metres away. Trying to get into the 10-metre line. Hewitt, Devotee, Craven. Hewitt, Shaw, ball to Boyd. Nice delayed pass from Peter Wheeler. Wheeler kicks through, useful. Does Danny Arnold have to make it dead? He does. Drop out St Helens. Nice probing kick by Peter Wheeler. We saw in the Huddersfield game he's got a good range of kicks, and certainly his confidence is rebuilding, because he had a lot of problems in the first half with his kicking game. Under a lot of pressure. It was a nice attacking kick, and it should give Hull 6 again. Taken by Wheeler inside the Saints half. Rob Nolan takes the tackle 30 metres out. Boyd. Richard Wilson takes a flat pass, drives to within 12 metres. Hewitt, Wheeler, Lester, nice ball to Devotee. Good tackling by Saints. But again, Hull on the boil. Mark Hewitt showing it, trying to go on his own within 5 metres. Hull stacked to the left. Oh, but he gives it to Hunt, and Hunt's away. And there's another try.
Yes, and you'll not catch Alan Hunt, will you? Touching down between the posts. Hunting for his second. And once again, Hull trying to bury the play, trying a speculator. And Alan Hunt comes up with the try. Great work there by Alan Hunt, obviously snatching that out of the air when Hull were putting pressure on again, and could have possibly got him for the second. So from right in front of the sticks, Lee Breer is looking for his fifth. He's successful there, another 6 points to the Saints, 42 points to 8. Kicking nice, substituted. Tommy Martin back on. Andy Nordy coming on as a replacement for Kieran Cunningham. And I'm sure your dual matchday mascots, the Smith brothers, Carl Smith, age 9, Christopher Smith, age 5, will be pleased that they've been the mascot for this afternoon's Silk Cut Challenge Cup match, with Saints 42 points to 8 to the good. with 14 minutes of the game gone. Hull in possession and being pressurised, Steve.
Yes, big tackle by Martin, who looks refreshed after his follow-up. A double is made. Richard Wilson. Wheeler floats a long ball. Now, he did get it on the outside of the Saints defence, but not so that Chris Kitchen could pick it up. There was space there, and Hull are certainly still trying to play football, but they're going to put themselves under enormous pressure here as Saints have this scrum about 18 metres from the Hull line.
Yes, and Martin, he's only been off the field 4 minutes, maybe a tactical substitution, and then Saints picking up an injury, but from the base of the scrum, Hammond moving out. Morley attacked in half. 10 metres from the Hull line, Saints pressing, Martin feeding, now with Anderson. Another academy tourist there, Paul Anderson. One of the up-and-coming starlets here at Nosey Road. Now with Chris Joint. Good running over on the far side. No, they wanted a quick play of the ball, but Hull are penalised for infringing at the play of the ball. A set of 6 now. The game obviously won for the Saints as Martin comes through, slips it to Anderson. The Hull tackling is firm this time. Hammond, drop off ball to Morley. Great tackling by Hull. Devorty in there. Once again, Saints going through the motions. The slip ball to Perolini. 5 metres short. Lovely ball handling skills by the Saints. Inside to Joint. Joint should touch down. Well, he doesn't. But Saints are over, I think. The referee's not happy with it. Yes, Andy Northey, I think, is the man. To try to the Saints. It was Andy Northey, just come on in the 65th minute as a substitute. £46 points to 8 the score. Tommy Martin taking over the kicking duties very successfully. £48-8 the score, 10 minutes remaining. Today's attendance 10,251, so a good crowd here at Nosey Road. Obviously swelled with a few from Hull, but a great crowd here. And why shouldn't more of the Saints public flock here to watch the Challenge Cup holders, the Super League champions, while they're on the buzz. Fault from the kick-off there, going directly dead, and Hull have the possession.
And it's Richard Wilson taking play inside the Saints half. Well, no doubt Hull have been butchered here this afternoon by the Saints side, but I'm sure they've learnt a lot from this. But the standard which they aspire to. Key for Hull, of course, this season is the First Division, and they start the campaign with Swinton next week. And Swinton will look much less daunting opponents, I think, after playing in a game like this. Since Hull have played what undoubtedly is the best side in the game at the moment. Rob Nolan knocks on, tiredness now starting to come into the Hull side. But, in terms of speed and power and speed of thought as well, Saints have held all the aces today, and they have the ball again, Rob.
Yes, Martin feeding it and slipping it out, and as you said before, Steve, only a matter of a season and a half ago, obviously the centenary season when we played Hull, played them in a friendly for the Bernard Twyer testimonial game, handsomely won here, 64 points to 16. As Saints spread the ball, it's now with new love after Matautia had it. But that game in the Regal Trophy, Steve, as you was on about before, up at Humberside, 38-26 the Saints won, and that was a game that could have gone either way. But 48 points to 8 the score. Clear 40-point cushion, and Tommy Martin just losing control. A very rare lapse. But Lee Deakin being replaced, Steve, and Matt Schultz coming back on. Hull head and feed at the scrum.
Yeah, Saints have certainly made their share of handling errors in the game, but the possession they've had, other than that, they've really used very effectively. Anyway, Hull possession. Gary Lester runs into Matautia, and he really is built like a brick wall, Vila Matautia. Chris Kitchen with a nice angled run against 10 metres. Craven, not quite the spring in his step there, and he has a right to be tired. I think Steve Craven's been excellent for Hull today. Gary Devorti has also probed very well, finding a bit of room round the ruck. To the right, Wheeler, Boyd takes it in, turns and looks to offload. Fifth and last on the 20-metre line. Wheeler, nice reverse angled kick, very useful, and Hunt has to make it dead. Well, that was another good kick from Peter Wheeler, the reverse angle, and well chased by his two Australian compatriots, Gary Lester and David Boyd. Certainly got a good range of kicking skills, Peter Wheeler. Rob Nolan collects just inside his own half, runs the ball back to the 30-metre line. Matt Schultz is back on the field, throws a dummy and runs from acting halfback. Makes 10. Craven. Wheeler. Switch of play. Oh, that was a nice play, but just missed time. Newlove's away, gets it to Sullivan.
Yes, Sullivan just couldn't round his man. Good tackling on the far side. Hull trying to force the pass. Now it's with Northey. Power and strength from Northey. Up to the halfway line. Anderson. Good tackle there. Substitute Ashton. Took him round the legs. Pick of Vance. Turns. Richard Wilson was one of the tacklers there. But once again, can Hull hold the Saints as Newlove? Well, the answer is no. As Newlove breaks through and in for his hat-trick, touches it down. The power and strength from this international three-quarter. Four minutes to the final hooter. Newlove in for his third, and a demolition job done on Hull this afternoon. Tommy Martin from a similar position. Newlove there took the ball with ease and precision, twisted out of the tackle. Martin's kick goes between the uprights. 54 points to 8 is the score, but Newlove took the ball. The whole defence looked as though it was covered, or it covered Paul Newlove. He twisted, turned out of the tackle, and touchdown for the 4-pointer. Hull with the ball in the hands.
Yes, Rob Danby well and truly murdered by Paul Newlove there. I think Danby's had a pretty solid game, but certainly well beaten there. But Hull's continuing to play football. Chris Kitchen bravely trying to go on the outside of Alan Hunt. Craven. Nice play. Kitchen kicks through, but it should be collected by Arnold, who does. Saints possession again.
Yes, Hull obviously still very in the play, but it's all coming too late. That try there, that late try from Aston, well, I'm saying late try, midway through the second half. Obviously nothing more than they deserved. But Saints have done the business. McRae's army march on. Pickavance over the halfway line, support from Anthony Sullivan. Not got the usual streamlined haircut as we're used to. Hammond, good ball to Morley, out to the back door to Hunt. Well tackled there. Hewitt. Was it the hooker? No. Jackson. Oh, right. Now it's Pickavance. Once again, Saints move it left side. There's the ball knocked back by a Hull player. The referee saying the ball's gone forward. Scrum down. Hull feed. Well, he's doing a lot of pointing and prodding and probing.
The match will be presented by Mr. Dave Topping of Silkcut, and today's Silkcut Award winner of £150 and an inscribed medal decided by the press this afternoon. It's Tommy Martin.
Tommy Martin adjudged the Silkcut man of the match as Hull had the possession from the scrum and possibly the last minute of play.
Now, I'm sure Hull will be glad to hear the final hooter. Again under pressure from acting halfback. Gary Devorty cleans up nicely. Richard Wilson. It's into his stride well, makes good yards. Still 2 minutes to go on the clock. Devorty. Certainly found a bit of space, Gary Devorty, around the ruck with some nice switches of play, switches of direction. Wheeler. Leicester kicks through. Come off a Saints man. But he does well, picks up and finds Arnold.
Yes, your Silkcut man of the match did well there, covered well. It had touch, Tommy Martin. He got it before it went into touch. Played it onto Danny Arnold. The ball now taken up by Andy Northey. In the final minute of play, 54-8 the score. Comprehensive display by the Saints. Carl Hammond can't take it. Alan Hunt does come up with it. Chico Jackson now has the possession. He has the ball possession. It's going to be a scrum down. Hull head and feed. Probably the last scrum of the match, Steve.
Could be a bit of injury time for that Matt Long stretcher, but yeah, in the last stages. Oh, nobody could fault the spirit in the Hull side today at all, I think. Mark Hewitt, another player who's given his all. Probing up the middle. Can Hull finish with a try? We're into injury time. Wheeler, again, a nice little interchange. Seen a bit more variety in Hull's attacking game today than we've seen in the other two matches. Moving the ball, switching direction. Gary Devorty goes on a run, almost gets through. And there is the final hooter. And the expected, I think, in the end, you've got to say, comprehensive victory for Saints by 54 points to 8. They march through to the next round, the quarter-final. Obviously favourites for the cup run, and nothing today that I've seen would make me change my mind on that. I think St Helens and Bradford, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the final again, and what a good one it would be. Hull, I think, have given everything, will have learnt a lot today. It'll be very sore, they'll feel down, but really they've learned a lot about power, pace, support play, and patience in a sense, because Saints certainly made mistakes, but when they stepped it up, Ron, they always looked capable of scoring.
Yes, they certainly did, and obviously a daunting task for Hull to come here, especially after Saints going through in the last round, but they're in the bag for tomorrow's tie. Great work by the Saints. Tries from Sullivan 2, Newlove 3, Breers, Hunt 2, Hammond and Northey. 5 goals from young Lee Breers, 2 goals from Tommy Martin. In the bag tomorrow for the draw, as I said, tomorrow night. Hull going to their spectators and applauding them. Obviously a hard, tough game, a step up in pace and class. But it's great to see the Hull spectators staying there and applauding their charges. They'll go in there for a well-earned bath. There'll be lots of tired and bruised bodies, but the Saints go marching on, 54 points to 8. Thanks for joining us. You've been with Micron Video. Join us in a fortnight. Let's hope we get another home tie for the next round.